We're here today with
Jordan.
Jered.
And Justin.
We are the Pals Brothers.
I'm 43.
45.
47.
So what was it like growing up?
Growing up was pretty carefree. We basically had a run of our house and our neighborhood, with us three being so close together and having two other neighbor male friends.
Yeah.
Rick and
Rep
Brad.
Kings. Yeah.
Played a lot of.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
We would just run all over the place, and we had railroad tracks near us. We had a mall near us. We had bikes that take us all over town. The only rule was you got kicked out of the house at 8 o'clock in the morning. You couldn't come back till the lights came on. So we had to spend a lot of time outside.
Yep, we were gone a lot. We did to a free reign.
Who was the most ornery?
Jered was the most ornery, without a doubt.
By far it was Jered.
I was
So
a
you would
troublemaker.
agree?
I was a
I
troublemaker.
used to have to beat him with wiffle ball bats just to keep him in check.
And I would have to run from him to Justin, and Justin would take care of him. So
Yeah,
definitely Jered.
Okay.
You agree? Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
Good.
Yep. Next question.
Most athletic?
I think Jered was by far the most athletic. He was a junior college second national high jumper. He was dunking since he was in 8th grade. Like the stuff he did athleticism wise was, to me, was unbelievable.
So I will disagree. I think it's Justin. I'm just kidding. It's not Justin. It's Jordan. Playing in the minor leagues baseball, Double A. Anything he does, he's good at, and he's very humble. But don't meet him on the golf course. He hasn't played in a while, but I guarantee he'll beat you.
I just
So.
played.
You were still breaking ankles and dislocating shoulders at 40 years old.
Yeah, the old rec ball, 35 and older. So
Still dunking at 42.
yeah, but we're all humble, but we don't like to compliment each other. So this is the one and only time. So there you go.
I am the tallest at 6'9".
Freak show. I'm 6'7".
I'm also 6'7".
I'm pure muscle.
Jordan is 6'1", 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Literally 6'9". Jered is 6'1", 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7. Justin is
at the doctor.
6'1", 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Being so tall, how much of an advantage but also disadvantage does this create?
Advantage in sports, I think it specifically basketball. It gives you an advantage, especially these days. We don't play anymore, but these days, the league, NBA, college, you're getting taller. The game's changing. So sports in general, I think being tall does help, but there's some advantages of being short as well in different sports. But the disadvantage for me is riding a roller coaster. There's a lot that I cannot fit on, and if I do, I can't hardly walk when I get off. So
Clothes.
yeah.
Clothes have to be special ordered.
Clothes,
Times.
yep.
They never fit.
Shoes. Riding in airplanes.
Oh yeah.
That was miserable.
Extra
2 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I hit my head at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Yep.
At least.
I have a calic right here, or not a calic, but a callus right on the top of my head for that. But yeah, there's your advantages and disadvantages.
Who's the most laid back?
The most laid back are both of them. I'm the black sheep. Take it away, laid back boys.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I'm definitely laid back, but Jordan, more so than I, he can hold his emotions in check better than I can, but I don't let a lot get me worked up either. So we walk into a room being tall, and obviously everybody notices. Jordan and I will find a corner and hide in it and just hang out. Jered's in the middle of the room,
Right in the middle.
yelling, talking, dancing, making a scene. So it's definitely between the two of us.
And I'm perfectly fine being behind everyone else and just watching.
I'm not.
I know. 2 different personalities.
Up front. There you go.
Most energetic and why?
Well, it's definitely Jered.
Yes, Jered.
Definitely Jered.
Why?
Tell us why,
We
Jered.
thought for a lot of years
why.
he was adopted because
Yeah.
it just was a whole nother scene.
Yeah, the height gave it away though.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
and I don't know why.
We kind of look alike too. So
It's just the way that God made me.
you got to be the center of attention.
That's me.
It's been his personality his whole life. His whole
It
life.
happens.
I could tell some funny stories. But
Don't go there.
I was gonna when you're talking about train tracks being by your house, I was like, Justin, tell us about that.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna get into that.
We won't get into that. No, just say it.
When Mom got on the tube for the first time,
Oh, God.
and Dad whipped her around and she went flying off that tube.
Or when
Thought
she
she
got
was
bumped
dead.
off a horse.
Do we want to talk about?
Yes, and then you make sure Mom watches this too.
Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Okay.
She thought she was paralyzed. She was fine.
I can't move.
We were all just laughing.
Yeah, you take that one, Justin.
Funniest moment growing up.
Oh, well, we used to camp quite a bit at Chubbyville. Dad had a boat, not a big boat. It's a nice boat though. We'd fish and camp. We'd spend every other weekend there in the summertime, and he'd take us tubing once in a while. And we finally one day talked our mom into getting on the tube. And she was very hesitant. We weren't sure how this was going to go. Well, Dad, being married to her for several years, having lots of kids, thought he'd have a little fun with it. Got up to pretty good speed and whipped her around, and she hit a wave that shot her about 5 feet in the air. And she came down and just hit the water and crashed right, and just did a face plant right into the water.
She was okay.
She-
We can laugh about
she
it
was
now,
okay.
but
She
We
thought she was not okay. But
Yeah.
she was.
We were not laughing at first, but then we got up to her and she thought she was paralyzed. She was just
I'm never doing that again.
And she was probably your age?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mid-40s?
The late 40s, yeah.
That'd probably be us if we tried tubing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a story we talk about every once in a while.
Oh, yeah,
Just-
it's fun to talk about now.
As a child, that was quite a funny moment.
It was.
Not
Yeah.
for her, but it was for us.
It was.
Smartest one growing up.
I would say Justin. Growing up, he was very
Not grown up, but now.
and now, grown up and now. Growing up, he was very smart about how not to get caught and get in trouble without going into detail.
He was a great kid.
Taught us
Great kid.
things we could do to not get caught. But now, now he's a established chiropractor, went through all that schooling.
Successful business.
Absolutely. When you talk to him about chiropractic stuff, he just takes it to the next level and just all in, loves it, and I enjoy hearing about that stuff.
I don't really, but I go with it. But yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I've always just had this.
You got the mind. You did a lot of
Keen
cool
wisdom.
things when you were younger. I didn't know
Figure
a lot about your
life out.
life when you were younger, but I would agree.
I hide it.
You got the brains of the Pals boys.
I found something I love and passion, so I took off with it.
Yeah, that helps.
Now you just got to get a personality. Him and I butt heads a lot.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, he would pick on me, for example. I don't know if they do this in high school anymore, but me becoming a freshman
You deserve
in
it.
high school.
He did deserve it.
Every
Let's
time
talk
down the
about-
hallway,
let's
getting my
talk
books
about-
knocked out of my hands.
Let's talk about
Picked on.
what your license plate said when you turned
Tough.
16.
TUFF.
Okay, enough said right
Obviously,
there.
I'm
I mean,
not.
that's just asking. That's just asking for trouble.
Well, yeah, we had our moments.
That was your personality the
I
whole
threw a
time.
tea jug at his head one time and missed, but
Yeah.
him and I didn't really butt heads that much. On the court,
Not really.
on the court a little bit.
Yeah, but it was
When I dunked on
it was
you.
being competitive though. It wasn't
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah,
Well, see, the problem is you have no filter. Whatever comes into your mind comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
it's okay.
All right,
It-
so
it
that's
happens.
yeah, which is fine.
happens.
Be honest and truthful with people, but expect retaliation.
Yes, and I do these days. I didn't back then.
Who was mom's favorite?
Jordan.
This guy.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were just discussing that I
out of
learned
the boys, you're the favorite.
out of the boys. Yeah.
Jalen.
The younger sister's by
favorite,
far
yes.
always been the favorite. She had her own
Deservedly
bedroom with
so.
a sink in it.
Yeah,
Putting on the best three. Yeah.
we had to bunk till
Yeah,
we went to
we had to
college.
bunk in the same room. That didn't always work out.
Bunk
But,
beds were this small.
Slept in the
Anyways,
same full bed. for
Yeah.
it was
years,
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
but out of the three of us, it's me.
yeah.
I think.
You were kind of to yourself, and
And I learned what I could get away with, what I couldn't, by seeing them get in trouble.
I blazed that path.
So I just kind of laid low and pretty calm
I was
and
grounded
reserved.
half of my high school career.
yeah, you were, and he didn't have a lot of friends, so he didn't really go anywhere. So I had most of the friends out of us all, but yeah,
I still don't have friends. I'm okay.
yeah,
It's easier that way.
I know. Golly.
I went to Effingham High School, graduated in 1999, played just basketball and baseball. I think I lettered 3 years in baseball, 2 years in basketball.
Doesn't matter.
And after that, I went on to Lakeland for 2 years, played baseball. I was a pitcher. And then a year at Eastern, I was a pitcher, and then got drafted by the Cardinals.
Your minor league career for the Cardinals. What escalated? How good was it? What was going on?
It was very fun. Like Lisa my wife was there along for most of the journey. We both met a lot of good people, a lot of good teammates and their wives, but I would not trade it in for anything. The experience I had, just because all the new people I met, all the fans that came out to watch us. I'll never forget one of my coaches said he saw one of my teammates not signing autographs before or after a game, and he talked to us all as a team and said, when you get a chance, sign every autograph you can, because one day nobody's gonna want your autograph. And I took that to heart. So even on days I was starting, I'd be warming up in the bullpen. On the walk back to the dugout, I would stop and sign kids' autographs, just because I always remembered that, knowing that professional sports careers are brief for the most part. It's not common where you're playing 20 years like LeBron James, but.
And you got to AA Springfield, right?
Yeah, I made it all the way up to AA, and we sold out. It was new then in Springfield, the minor league team, Cardinals team. So we'd sell out 10,000 people every game.
Beautiful stadium.
And it was like a big league atmosphere. Like I loved it. It was fun. Going into the game, like when I was starting, I remember warming up, real nervous because there's every seat in the house is filled. And then once I took the mound in that first warm-up pitch, it was like no one was there. Like blinders went on, and I just pitched like I did when I was a kid. Yeah, I just locked in. Didn't even know there were 10,000 people there. Just me and the catcher and the batter.
I think the wild thing as a brother is that you watch him through his whole career pitch at every level, and then you get to that level, and like you said, when you walk out on the mound, you kind of forget that you're in that atmosphere because you're just watching him pitch again. You know, so it's kind of a different perspective as a family member watching him go all the way through and then seeing him there, and you kind of lose perspective of that whole thing because he's just out there pitching.
Yeah, and you probably can't enjoy the atmosphere because you're just watching.
Right.
Just another game.
Very nervous. For
yeah,
you. Yeah. Just like when your own kid.
And Dad always said how nervous he was. Like our dad would listen to the games on the computer, I think.
Yeah, back then.
That was dial-up.
Yeah.
They would turn on the computer, and then in between innings, Mom always said, Dad would have to go outside and
have a smoke
real quick. 'Cause he's so nervous, and he'd come back in and listen to it. And I'm starting to live that now with my own kid playing. Like I love watching him play.
It's a different feeling though.
But I'm way more nervous watching him pitch
Sure.
than when I ever pitched in my life. It's different. But my career, the only thing I would change is obviously making it to the big leagues, but it wasn't meant to be. But it was.
The one cool thing as a brother looking at it is, number one, I wish I could have watched more games, but I had my own college thing going on. But number two, watching him sign autographs, because we used to practice those when I was a little kid.
I'd practice them in my notebook during class.
Yeah. And then
I
actually
shouldn't be saying that as a teacher, but
no, but actually, seeing you do it, it was a proud moment for sure. I think for the whole family.
To this day, I still get cards in the mail from people.
Yeah.
Like they're now adults, but when they were kids, they said they would write me a letter and say, I remembered watching you. I loved how you carried yourself. You played the game the right way, and that means more to me than anything.
Yeah.
And I would sign the card he sent, and I'd send him another card I had that he didn't have in there. Sign it and just send it back. But to this day, I'll still get it a couple a year.
I'm still waiting for my signed card.
I've got a whole safe full
After
of
this,
them.
you can get signed.
I got a whole safe full of them. Hoping he picks his career back up one of these days and they're worth something.
That's not happening.
Yeah, those days are over.
Yeah.
So what ended it for you? Why don't you
Good
tell
question.
us about that?
That's good. I got released towards the end of spring training in 2007, and there was a week left in spring training. All the rosters, minor leagues, big leagues, had been set. It was just bad timing, timing is what it has a lot to do with it. But I tried to get on different team, couldn't, so I went independent ball in Connecticut, in the Atlantic League. My first start out there, second or third inning, I threw a pitch and felt something in my elbow. Didn't feel right.
Who was your coach?
We'll get to that in a minute.
That's the cool part.
But I threw a fastball and something felt like it separated my elbow. Didn't feel right. Didn't hurt, but it just felt uncomfortable. So I got the ball back, kept shaking to the catcher until he put down a curveball because I wanted to really test it out. Probably not the best idea, but I tried to throw a curveball and threw it about 40 feet, bounced it, and then I called out the trainer and said something's not right. They did a couple tests, took me out of the game, and then we did some MRIs. It ended up being Tommy John. During the time, my manager was the Tommy John,
Person named surgery after.
the person the surgery's named after. So it's just ironic, and the timing was so bad. But we got the team doctor to look at it, MRI, all that, said partial tear. So Tommy John says you need to get a second opinion. He gets on the phone with Dr. Andrews, who is the man in Birmingham when it comes to these surgeries and other joint surgeries. So I go down there, he looks at it, says partial tear, you can either rehab for 6 months, hope the scar tissue holds it together, or just get the surgery and be out 12 to 14 months. And that was not an easy decision. Me and my wife went back to the hotel, talked about it, and said, if this is gonna happen, we can't waste another 6 months and then be set back if it tears again. So we got the surgery done. 13 and a half months later, I was pitching in a game again in Connecticut. And I made 5 starts to end the season there on schedule, every 5th, 6th day. Velocity was improving, strength was coming back, and then the season was over. And then I could have kept playing independent ball after that the next year, but I really wanted to get a spring training invite, never happened, so I just retired from baseball at that point.
From being a former player to now coach, Jordan, what's the difference?
Well, I used to coach baseball after playing baseball, and I really enjoyed it when I was doing it, but as my son got older and playing baseball, I didn't enjoy missing his games. So that's the reason I got away from coaching fresh off high school baseball at T-Town. But I did that for probably 4 or 5 years. I think I was around for 2 or 3 of Fleener's championships, and it was fun. It's fun teaching that level kids, getting some of them to the next level. As far as being a grade school type coach, like 10U type baseball coach, I couldn't do that. I don't have the patience for that. It's fun to watch my son, but I don't.
Yes, you do.
I can't coach that level. Currently, I'm coaching junior high girls basketball at T-Town and enjoying every second of it. Like, I was kind of forced in, and I've told this story to a lot of people. It's not a secret. When I got hired at South Central, I was forced into coaching girls. Never thought I'd ever coach girls in my life. Didn't have any reason to, but once they forced me into it, I want nothing but coaching girls basketball at this level. For the reasons that they don't think they know it all, and they will do whatever they can
to win
and to please the coach. Like at that age, they don't want to make the coach unhappy. They don't want to disappoint. And sometimes it's to a fault. They turn into robots sometimes, but once you get them out of that stage, it's been a blast coaching junior high girls, just especially here. Like,
Yeah.
they put in the work, their parents put in the work on the side, and we have success. Winning makes everything easier, but it's been fun. I hope I'm doing it for many more years, and hope we have the success we've had lately.
Trying to get out of that lost column. Shut up. I gotta go here. With sports, I did track, specifically high jump. I did 4x4 and some other relays, did triple jump. Held the high school record for a little bit on that. Held high school record in high jump for a bit. Did basketball. My career took me to Parkland for 2 years doing high jump, where I got second in the nation in JUCO colleges and jumped 6'10". And looking back, I still don't see how that happened.
Why didn't you go to the Olympics?
I didn't jump high enough.
They're
Justin.
jumping like 7, 8.
Yeah. Had the opportunity to go to Eastern and do a little track or basketball, but decided I should have, looking back, but decided to just concentrate on my studies and graduation. So, but yeah, my track experience was awesome. 2 out of 3 of my boys are doing high jump themselves right now, and it's fun. Kind of like Jordan explained with coaching, it's fun to kind of sharing the things that you learn throughout the years and the little things with high jump that matter, getting to those certain heights.
They're pretty good at it too.
Yeah, it's not something that you gotta be born with it, I think. The form and all that goes along with it. But yeah, it's fun. So I've got a chance to coach them a little bit and coach others around the junior high level, and I'll probably help a little bit in high school. But that was the gist of it.
Jered, you were in a slam dunk contest. Explain that.
Way back in the day, I was able to go to the slam dunk contest in Peoria at the time, my junior and senior year of high school. I believe that's voted on between the coaches and the conference. Junior year went, had a great time. Senior year went, had a great time, and also qualified for the 3-point contest. Honestly, don't know if they still do those things at state
I was wondering
these days.
But
But it was a good time.
It was fun.
Met a lot of cool people. There's a lot of I don't recall the names, but a lot of guys that were there that went to D1 schools.
Corey Maggette.
Corey Maggette was one of them. But had a great time. At the time, I was able to jump from the free throw line and dunk, so I gave that a try in state and failed miserably because I was nervous. But I completed all 3 dunks and had a good time with that, and it's fun looking back on those videos.
Well, we've already established I'm the brains of the group here, so I did not get the athleticism that they did. They got the uber athleticism. I was decent. I did play baseball when I was younger till about my freshman year. I played a freshman year of football. Decided I'm not really the tackling type. I don't like being aggressive. And
We're not
tackling
built for
people.
that.
Yeah, no, it didn't go well. So I did play basketball up till my senior year. It was fine. I was never really into it. It just wasn't my thing. I actually wanted to be a rock star. So I picked up the bass guitar when I was 14, and by the time
Had a mullet.
by the time I was 15, I was in a band, and actually a bunch of guys from T-Town, a couple of us from Effingham, some from T-Town, Matt Powell, Aaron Stortzen, most people know.
One of them lives right over here.
Yeah. So we did the Rockstar life for a while, barely made it through school, and had some fun doing that. But college-wise, I went to Lakeland for 2 years, Eastern for 2, and then to Logan College of Chiropractic. So I spent a lot of time in college, which was nice. I would go back and do it again.
And you were in a band in college.
I was in a band in college as well. So instead of the athletics, I kind of went a different direction, but it was still a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed watching these guys play. About the time they hit junior high, so we're all 2 years apart, we would be playing out in the driveway, whatever sport you want to pick, and they started kicking my butt, and that's when I realized that I can't look bad in front of my brothers over and over again. I got to find something else to do. But they've always been that way, super athletic, and it's been a blast watching them through their careers and their sporting events, and it's been pretty awesome. So
Not super athletic either.
So how close are you 3?
well, we're really close now. I mean, way closer.
Yeah.
Even though we have our own families and our own kids, when we do get together, it's a pretty tight,
good time.
Good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk a lot and interact with some things. When we were growing up, it wasn't really that close. When I turned 16, I was gone. I actually moved out of the house when I was 17, and I just didn't want to be in there.
You
in that
wanted to
environment.
do your own thing.
I wanted to do my own thing. There were 4 of us kids, all back to back to back, and mom and dad were working their tails off, and just what led up to that. Didn't have us real tight, but we all had our own pockets of things going on too.
I thought Jordan and I were pretty tight. I thought we could have been pretty tight, but you always picked on me.
Yeah.
Well, you
were a
deserved
bully.
it.
I had some
You
pretty.
were a bully.
Jared deserved being picked on because
I
he
did.
would pick on me. We were tight, but he would pick on me. I would pick on my younger sister. But me and my younger sister, Jalen, shout out, she'll watch it. We would always go run to Justin if Jared was annoying us. and Justin would take care of him.
Yeah, oh yeah, he would.
So
And I mean, it's the same dynamic, I think, in any
Abuse.
family.
Yeah, it is.
When you're that
It's
close together. I mean, we're all 2 years apart. So, you know, it's far enough, but it's not far enough that it's kind of a weird dynamic.
we would fight like every other siblings do. Like my two boys, all they do is fight. When they get older, they're probably gonna be tight. Just
They will be. Yeah.
probably the worst manager I've ever had.
Biggest role model for each one of you as kids?
Mine were these two
Oh my.
older brothers and my parents. Like work, I think I got my work ethic from our parents. They were always working their tail off to provide. Wasn't always easy, but they found a way.
Yeah.
But it starts with them, and then me being third born out of four. These two I always looked up to, no matter what they were doing. I just always wanted to try to do what Big Brother was doing. And more specifically, Jered, so we were closer in age. I would try to hang with him in sports, him and his friends. And early on, I couldn't.
Didn't work.
Then as I started getting bigger, I was able to a little bit, but I still never could
Yeah,
beat
you
him in
did.
basketball. But those are mine.
I'm not gonna say Justin. Just say Justin because he wasn't my role model. Sorry, bud.
It's okay.
Michael Jordan. I know that sounds kind of crazy.
It shouldn't be anybody's
It
role
doesn't
model.
sound crazy actually. But yeah, Michael Jordan. I studied his game and just really looked up to him, which what kid didn't at that time.
I was gonna say that was
But,
huge.
Yeah, and that's somebody I tried to mirror my game off of. It was way off, but I tried certain dunks that he tried, and
It was closer than you think. for being-
no, but yeah, Michael Jordan.
Well, I can't really think of a role model in that aspect because I've always just blazed my own path, and this has been we've been discussing how this is a difficult answer for me. But I did think of somebody, Grandma Dixon.
Yeah,
I was her first grandchild, and I spent tons of time with her. She would do anything for me, and I loved hanging out with her. And she wasn't my parent, so she would always, just whatever I needed, she would be there for me.
She was
Yeah.
pretty close to
Yeah.
parent.
And
More
she
as-
was.
as her grandma.
She taught me a lot about life, working hard.
Yeah.
She's the first one I mowed with. I always picked apples for her. We took care of all her properties. Taught me a ton about the land. Like I love gardening now. Well, Dad got me into that too. But Grandma was huge green thumb.
I just did a bunch of landscaping because of Grandma Dixon.
Yeah. So when we were discussing and thinking about it, I think that's the person I would say that probably influenced me the most. I guess is what a role model
I
does.
would 100% agree.
So
Good answer.
I think it
Yeah.
was Grandma Dixon.
100%.
You guys are all three so athletic, but you have to be blessed to get to that point. You have to be blessed to have athleticism in the family. What goes into that?
I think God did bless us with talent. It took him to a new level in sports. Him and I did not, but I think that leads on into life in general by teaching our children what we've learned in our jobs. We're all three very competitive. He runs his own business. He's a teacher with the AA ball. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, so in sales you got to be competitive or you're going to be at the end of the line. So I think being born with some athletic ability, I think in life, just in general, whether it brings you to the professional level or not, can affect all different aspects.
It opens doors for you.
It does.
Yeah. And being a part of a team because you are athletic and a leader definitely pours over to real life stuff too.
It teaches you how to be competitive and stay competitive. Like I can't be competitive physically like I used to be, but mentally I still can.
And you can share what you've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really makes sense, but
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
and I can relay that to my own kids.
Yep.
To try to instill that in them. That's where I'm at in life.
I don't know where you're at.
The Pals brothers, Jordan, Jered, Justin Pals. Thank you guys for sharing your story. We had a lot of laughs, of course. You guys are very funny, but also it's very intriguing to hear kind of the childhood growing up. So I'm sure the community will enjoy watching this. Thank you guys so much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you, Tyler, for taking the time to do this with us. I know going into it, we had talked about like, what are we gonna talk about? Like, how's this gonna go? But it's one way to get us together again because it's really hard to get us together with our busy lives.
It is. Yeah.
And they live seems like an hour and a half away, even though they're not. But it was fun getting together and doing this for an hour. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, same here, T-Rep. Appreciate you taking the time to do this, and hopefully it gives everyone in the community a little glimpse of how the Pals boys grew up.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It has been fun. It's been a good time, and people are really going to see what Jered's like on a regular basis.
Add the blooper reel.
So, yeah, thanks again. It's been great, and I've really enjoyed it.